All right. Shalom, peoples of the world and the tribe of Judah and Israel. I'm hoping this video will help all you out there who are fighting for God's herb, who are willing to stand up for the herb that God made and the herb that God sanctified, the greatest herb on the whole earth, cannabis, marijuana, the herb that people look down upon and the people that smoke it because they don't know God's people. They don't know God's tribe, the tribe of Judah. Nor do they know the scripture and what it says about that herb, nor do they know anything about that herb. They probably drink alcohol to kill themselves and smoke cigarettes, right? We know who these people are. But this video is for those individuals out there who are expressing their freedom that God gave them, and they carry around with them the herb that God made. So say you're driving in your car or wherever you may be, and one of these police, one of the policy enforcers stop you to infringe on your right. Okay, so I'm not going to give you guys a script. I'm just going to basically try to convey, what you need to know in order to stand up for yourself, so you're not walked on. Right, stand up for your rights, right? Without, at the same time, without confessing to their legalese, to their legal policy and codes, right? Who knows the answer to the code but the people who write them, right? So their whole legal system has nothing to do with the law. That's the first thing you must know. All legal codes, everything in the acts that everyone's acting out, and their codes and their legalese, right? All that has nothing to do with the law. Every code is not a law. All their policies isn't a law. In fact, every policy that a policy enforcer is enforcing on you breaks the law. From stop signs, from red lights, from having ganja, to all of it. The insurance, speeding, it all infringes on your right. Okay? Because they're a policy. Okay? You have not harmed or committed any crime. Right? You haven't murdered anyone, stolen anything, right? You've done no crime. You've raped no one. There's no victim. Okay? It's a policy. It's there to destroy you by brainwashing you to believe you have no rights and then charging you money for a policy that violates your right. And then everyone pays the money and they continue to extort money from you. This is the so-called police today. They're a disgrace to humanity and to America. All right? So let's get to the point now. So let's say a cop pulls you over and they're asking, you got marijuana, you got weed in your car. You say, excuse me, is it illegal to have property? Is it illegal for me to have property? Am I allowed to have property? That's what you have to ask him. If he's asking you a question, ask him a question back. If he says, you have marijuana in your car, you say, am I allowed to have property? Okay. And what you're doing here is you're changing who has authority. Right? He's asking you because he thinks he has authority that weed is illegal, that marijuana is illegal, that he has the right to ask you about your property. And he has no right to ask you about your property, nor what you're doing with your property. Whether you're selling or whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter. As long as you're not harming anybody. Okay, so if they ask you that, you say, sir, yes, sir, I got a question. Is it illegal for me to have property? No, it's not illegal for you to have property. Okay, am I free to leave? Okay. And so the thing is, I know a lot of people aren't going to stand because they're afraid of the government, when in fact the government should be afraid of you. And so this is how we got here. And now it's time to change that. Now it's time for y'all to stand up. I've been standing up. Whether or not y'all see me or not, I don't put everything I do on YouTube, right? So it's time for y'all to stand up with I and with the rest of us. Okay. So when you get pulled over, realize it's your property. You have a right to do what you want with your life, to life, liberty, and happiness, right? And at the same time, you are protected by the Bible, which the Bible condones ganja and marijuana. The Bible, even the Lord himself uses cannabis marijuana. And if you don't know that, if you disagree with that, I would suggest you quiet your mouth and your opinion and you read the Bible. Okay, because it's all Genesis 1:29, Isaiah 18:4, Psalms 18:8, Revelation 22:14, Exodus 30:23. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. It's all in the Bible. Ganja was made by God for his people to smoke, eat, make teas, oils, extractions, all the above, from the THC to the CBD, THCA, all of it. Okay? So don't be ashamed for what God made, and don't be ashamed for how God said to use it, how God himself used it. Isaiah 18:4. I will consider, and I will take my rest in my dwelling place like clear heat upon herbs, like a cloud of dew in the heat of harvest. That's a lot of clouds. and a lot of heat on herbs, smoking it up. Psalms 18:8. So we know that God himself smokes, right? He has smoked before, thrown and everything else like that. So men, you have no reason to be ashamed for smoking a ganja. You should be proud of the ganja, and you should be able to walk freely in the street, growing ganja wherever you go, and walking freely with the ganja and smoking it wherever you go, right? The thing is, we know that they want you to die because they make cigarettes legal and alcohol legal, both murder you, but ganja, which heals you and heals all death and brings life, it is a tree of life, they make illegal. So we know that they want to kill you, they want to murder you, and this is what they put in their policies. But if you know your rights, you can stand. So they pull you over, you say, okay, am I allowed to have property? And they're going to say, yeah, you do. You absolutely have. And then you ask to go. And they're going to probably keep escalating, ask to search your car and all this stuff and say, do you have a warrant? You need a warrant to search my property. Right? Remember, always talk about property. Property is private. You have a right to your property and your person and your life and your liberty and your happiness. The second you get out of property, you are then the property, and they can do whatever they want with you. Okay? And so also at the same time, whether or not they give you a ticket or not, that's fine. They can give you a ticket. They can't arrest you though. And if they do arrest you, ask to go straight to the judge, because they can't take you to jail without going to a judge first, because no one's guilty yet. Okay. And if you go to a judge, trust me, you're going to get dismissed, right? With what I'm about to share with y'all. Okay. So the cops are usually stupid. They are uneducated in their own oath and the law. So generally, battling with the cop is going to be a waste of time, because they're probably just going to shoot you and say that you fought against them or whatever else. So just talk about your property. If they don't, whatever else, then say, if you need a warrant to search my property, otherwise you can serve me with a ticket and I'll see you in court, right? Okay, so now you're in court. They pull you up in court and they ask you, marijuana, this and that. And you say, excuse me, do I have a right to property? Okay, you could do with that. Start with that. Also, you want to say, let me see my accuser, the person who I've harmed, right? Okay, who have you harmed? Nobody. So the court's going to get quiet. Trust me, I've been there, I've done it. Okay, court's going to get quiet. They're probably going to dismiss because no crime has been committed. There's actually no reason for you to be in court. All right, they're just trying to steal money from you and probably trying to steal your ganja from you. Okay, now we're going to get into your authority. One, you're going to bring the Bible, which everyone swears on the Bible when they go to court, yet all those people don't follow it. Okay, you're going to be the difference in that. You have to follow that. You have to believe in it. You have to bring in that Bible and show them Genesis 1:29, Isaiah 18:4. Okay, you got to show them at least those two. The first one says that God made every herb bearing seed, which cannabis bears seed. All right, and then in Isaiah 18:4, it shows that God is smoking the herb, right? So you can use it however you want. A lot of people look down on the smoking part. So you utilize that and you say, I have a right to my religion and my belief as protected by the Constitution. Now, didn't all y'all swear an oath to the Constitution? And then it's going to get quiet, right? And so you're protected by the Bible and then the Constitution, and then you're also protected by the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Okay, you have a right to your religion and to express it however you wish. Okay, so you have to believe in this. Okay, that's the only way you're really going to be free, and that God's going to fight with you and for you as well. Okay, so you have to study your rights. You have to bring in evidence as well. So you have to know it inside of you, because you have to speak it, and then you have to submit evidence to the court, because think of it like this. You're a living man. They're a corporation. You follow the rights and laws that God gave you. They follow the policies of corporation. So they're dead and you're living. You're 3D, three-dimensional, and they're two-dimensional, flat paper. So you must come and know yourself. And at the same time, you must implement paperwork for their dead selves, right? So you must write in the paperwork what you believe, your right to believe, and then cite the Constitution, cite the Bible, and cite the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, okay? And then you'll have all the authority in the court, you'll have all the jurisdiction, and there's nothing they can do to you. In fact, you can actually write a bill to them and charge them every time they take you to court however much you want. And if they confiscate your property, you can charge them however much you want for that property, because it was your property, okay? It's time we have to stand as men for what God created and for what is right and what heals and what stands for life, because they are literally ruling everything and they rule with death. So it's time to stand in against these evil people and these policy enforcers who break their own oath, right? And who these people who make these fake laws in the courts because they want you to die and be miserable and not connect to God and have no meditation or no medication. So it's time for this to change. Ain't no reason to be afraid of these cops or these governments. They need to be afraid of you and what you know, but the intelligence of your mind and the word of your mouth and the truth in your heart, okay? And the righteousness in your spirit, all right? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I went through it really fast. Watch it again. Leave comments, like, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helps y'all out. All men and the Most High and the women too who are fighting for this ganja, this sacred herb, okay? And shalom.